Hi, I'm Daniel Spencer from The Search Magazine. Today I bring you a global exclusive interview with Steve Moore and Brent Weaver of Garrett, and we're going to be talking about the Garrett Ace Apex, its features, and when it's going to be available. It's with huge thanks to Garrett's Marketing Director Steve Moore, Director of R&D and Senior Design Engineer Brent Weaver, and of course Harry Bain, the editor of The Search Magazine, that I had the opportunity to ask some additional questions about the Garrett Ace Apex. What was the reasoning behind choosing 20 kHz as a maximum frequency in the single frequency menu?
Some may ask the question, why did we not go above 20 kilohertz for our single frequency operation? And the real answer is there are certainly detectors on the market that are above 20 kilohertz in their single frequency operation, but those are generally pretty specialized detectors. And the real reality is those higher frequency detectors very quickly suffer pretty significant performance loss whenever any mineralization is introduced, especially any moisture content in the ground. Your performance falls off very quickly. So in contrast to that, we really did specifically choose this range of frequencies to truly provide what we would consider useful and actual effective performance in any ground conditions, and that kind of helped drive our selection of the single frequency ranges.
Right. Okay.
We kind of pride ourselves at Garrett to actually introducing useful features and functions, not just what I call the fluffy stuff, for the sake of marketability and so forth. We like to give our customers true utility and true useful and advantageous features.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
he covered quite a bit there, Daniel.
Yeah, I was.
The key point is
trying to keep up.
True flexibility at this price point. I mean, I'm not aware of other machines that give you 6 choices, including 2 simultaneous multi-frequencies, where the user can really go out and attack any types of targets they want to go after and have full freedom of choice. So
yeah, absolutely. No, that's fantastic. Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and obviously the specific frequencies, and so it's obviously what everyone's after. They want to know exactly what they're dealing with, regardless if they sort of know what's happening or not. They just know it's what the noise is going to make and totems and things when they go over something. So obviously the frequencies 5, 10, 15 and 20, which cover, even in the UK, will cover everything you'd wish for. So we're very happy with that, and we're glad you've gone down that route as well. And so we appreciate that. Another question, did any of your design work centre around making sure Apex is well suited for English detecting?
Well, sure. And we've, all of us, everybody in this conversation and many of us at Garrett have actually spent a lot of time over the years in England testing, traveling, detecting, attending rallies, talking with the customers, spent a lot of time in England. So there was a lot of consideration put into this new Apex with your market in mind. The coil is a prime example. It really was suited for and thoughtfully created with a lot of your applications in mind. And so we purposely kind of merged 2 of our favorite coils, 2 of our most popular coils, kind of into one, where we maintained a very large heel-to-toe footprint to provide the coverage that's needed on the large fields and so forth. But we made it narrow enough to navigate through stubble and the stubble fields and iron-infested patches and these sort of conditions that you also encounter. So there was a lot of thought put into that with your type of hunting environment included. And of course, in England it rains every day, or thereabouts. So we wanted to make the without adding all the weight and cost and bulkiness that's associated with a true submersible detector. We wanted to certainly address rain proof and environmental proof on this Apex. So we certainly made the Apex more rain proof than any of our previous ACE detectors. Right. And as I mentioned earlier, of course, and as you just kind of mentioned, the range of single frequencies and even our multi-frequency options really was thoughtfully selected to address your and other European countries or other countries to your south, your range of targets that are important to you. Anything from tiny hammered silver coins all the way to your world-renowned hordes are addressed and fully addressed by this Apex detector.
No, it's fantastic, to be fair, because I think the mentality in the UK and maybe in Europe, mainland Europe as well, is that gold, you must have a high frequency to find gold. You won't find it with anything else. I think we all know that that's not entirely true. It does depend on the soil conditions as well. But I think with the 20 kilohertz, I think that's the one that if people aren't going to be, because we do get issues over here, get quite a lot of EMI in certain areas. So what we would normally do is drop down to a single frequency from a multi-frequency program. And then, but what you don't want to be doing is losing out on those little small bits. So you drop down to a 20 kilohertz, it gets rid of the EMI, and you still don't feel that you're actually missing much. So I think keep going up to 20 kilohertz. I think that was obviously an important decision for yourself, not just for the UK, but obviously in America as well, because obviously there are small bits and pieces out there to be found.
Certainly. Go ahead, Steve.
A couple other thoughts on that, Daniel. Yeah. Obviously, we run into you and the searcher team over at Detectable and a lot of the big rallies and all that. And like Brent alluded to, the coil was not just accidentally come upon, but things like Detectable, where you have 1,000+ acres or Cook Memorial, massive chunks of land to hunt, you got to cover a lot of ground. But when you get into those little medieval sites or some of those little Roman patches, you need the smaller coil. So definitely a lot of experience of being over in England and talking to our friends and associates there that do the hunting came into play with that coil size.
Yeah.
And like you said, being able to knock out the EMI, that's why Brent and his team put in basically a machine that has 48 different frequency choices with the channel selections you've got within each of the 6 different operating modes with the frequency platform. So a lot of versatility. So.
Absolutely. And no, it's very exciting. It's nice to, don't get me wrong, the ACE range has always been very popular for the entry level. Obviously, then you come along with the I ranges, etc. I think this just seems like this is the next level where it's going to be maybe stepping on the AT Pro, definitely stepping on the AT Pro territory. And I think those sort of users are going to be very, very intrigued by this machine.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and even from an engineer, designer's perspective, I'll agree with that. I'll even kind of strengthen that we'll be stepping on some toes of some competitive products that are above our price point. Again, with the flexibility and the power and the versatility that's put into this machine, it really does cover a lot of territory. One thing you touched on a little bit, and I haven't really gone into it too much, but really is a little more information for you on multi-frequency.
Okay.
Some of our multi-frequency modes, and of course I know one of the questions is what are the specific frequencies that are contained in a multi-frequency, or how many are there, and so forth. And so I'll answer that in a couple different ways. My first answer will be, our new multiplex technology platform is very proprietary in nature, so I'm not going to divulge all the inner workings and all the secret sauce that's into the product, but I will give you some insight for sure. The real answer is it employs a numerous amount of simultaneous frequencies that truly range from as low as 5 kilohertz to actually significantly higher than the 20 kilohertz range when we're in the multi-frequency mode. So we are going beyond the 20 kilohertz single frequency option when we're operating in multi-frequency mode. So it's the true broadband simultaneous multi-frequency mode for either of the multi-frequency modes.
Fantastic.
But it is important, I think, to note that effective multi-frequency detection is not merely about the frequency range or the total number of frequencies that are generated. Really, it's equally important is what is done with those frequencies in order to create a true performance enhancement. And whether you're talking that you have 3 frequencies or 5 or 8 or whatever you think the magic number is, there is no magic number. It's what's done with those frequencies that really makes the difference. It's kind of like Formula One racing. It's not merely enough to have that your race car has 8 gears. It's what the driver does with those 8 gears that makes the difference.
Of course.
And it's a similar scenario with the Apex. So not only are we generating a broad range of numerous simultaneous frequencies, but like I said, just as important is the way that the sophisticated and proprietary way that we're processing and analyzing all of those frequencies in this broad spectrum.
Wow.
So in the multi-frequency mode, like I mentioned, we're including additional frequencies above the 20 kilohertz that not only allows us to further enhance the detection, but it also allows us to realize the true benefit of that detection enhancement by also at the same time utilizing these additional frequencies to help mitigate the negative effects of the ground mineralization.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's not just simply a number of frequencies or knowing the number that makes the difference. It's what you do with those frequencies that's really most important.
Brilliant. Yeah, fine. No, absolutely. It does make sense. I think we can all get a little bit, we can all get a bit excited about, oh, it's firing 15 different frequencies into the ground. We don't think about how that actually affects the performance of the machine, what it does. You can, it's a bit like having sensitivity up too high. You can actually get a machine to sort of almost be blinded by it enough that it's actually not, it's working against itself. So that makes absolute sense.
Sure, it's coming down to an intelligent selection of the frequencies, intelligent selection of the number of frequencies, and even more importantly, an intelligent and sophisticated processing of those frequencies to truly create a beneficial advantage as opposed to just a bunch of marketing hype.
Yeah, of course. Which we see far too often.
So, yeah. So I know Harry wanted you to dig in a little bit and get some fresh information there. And while you may not have gotten 100% of the exact answer you want for the readers, I think Brent kind of let you know that certain parts of it are going to be held in check. But you have, by far, I promise, been given more information today than we've shared with anybody else.
Fantastic.
Overseas or even in America. So hopefully there's enough there for you to write a little scoop, get a good article out of this. And, again, maybe down the road we can do a follow-up if you guys think it makes sense to tackle another topic with Apex.
Yeah.
We'd love to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, so would we. No, I really appreciate your time. And Brent, thank you very much. That was, as much as there's millions of questions I'd like to add, it'd be nice just to sort of have the machine and then ask the questions afterwards rather than probably, I'm asking the questions and you'll say, oh, patience. You'll know as soon as you get one. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
And all the obvious stuff is going to come out. Everybody, we're still doing a little field testing right now with some key people, and Brent will make minor adjustments as they see fit. I want to know today by noon, how deep is it going to go? Is it deeper than this machine or that machine?
Yeah.
And as you know, Daniel, all that comes out. And when you get to the rallies and you got a test lane, go dig your heart out. Go test all the targets. And we hope to see you there in September. We hope to have those machines there so you can get your hands on it, play with it, and see how deep it goes. But all that stuff will come out in the wash very quickly.
Absolutely. No, well, it's a very sleek-looking machine, and I'm sure the programming and is as good as the hardware, etc. So thank you very much. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, it's good to speak with you.
Yeah,
and we will hopefully see you soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care. Thank you, guys.
Take care, Daniel.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. A huge thanks to Steve and Brent from all at Team Searcher. We hope you've enjoyed this interview, another global exclusive interview from the Search magazine.